Muslims and Christians join together in the fight against LGBTQ plus books. Conservative Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan have joined forces with right-wing Christians in a bigoted crusade against gay and trans literature in public schools. The American Library Association reports that in 2022, public and school libraries have received record-breaking 1,650 calls for the elimination of books, with over a third of the targets featuring LGBTQ content. What makes the Dearborn story different and especially disturbing is that it foreshadows the formation of a powerful and dangerous new right-wing coalition. The rabble at the most recent Dearborn Public School Board meeting on October 13th was not only the predictable cohort of white Christian evangelicals wearing crosses and red caps, standing at their side, screaming anti-gay remarks and waving their fists in the air, were hundreds of conservative Muslims. Dearborn's population is 47% Arab American, and in the years following the September 11th attacks, the mid-sized city was slandered by right-wing bigots who equated Islam with terrorism. The forces who supported a president who called for a Muslim immigration ban are now, through a shared hostility toward gay and trans people, uniting with local Muslims and even representatives of the Council of American Islamic Relations, or CARE, to demand the imposition of ignorance by way of book banning in Dearborn's public schools. I think the key words for this story are shared hostility towards gay and trans people, and this is where it all lies. And it's not all that surprising that right-wing Christians were able to find common ground with another conservative religious sect. It's only a matter of time before the Hasidic community jumps on this bandwagon.
Oh, I was about to say, you see a lot of Jewish people side with Trump, for example, when he's been vocally anti-Semitic, right. So it's just because they agree with him on these. Well, the Republicans know that they can get people to agree on nothing that they propose except homosexuality, women's rights, trans rights. They found their gold mine. They're attacking it at every level, the local, state, federal level. That's all they have to offer.
Ignorance breeds hatred. Hatred brings unity. Like it's the mob mentality.
Yeah.
And that's the key of trying to ban these books, is it encourages ignorance while also creating a boogeyman for people to rally against. And it's a very well thought out tactic. It's not on accident. These people are being used as pawns. They are rabble. They're not thinking for themselves. Doesn't matter what religion you are. There's people of all religious sects who fall into that. Education is important. Empathy is important. And these people want neither of those things to exist.
Yeah, go ahead. Luckily, libraries are usually have a history of being a safe space.
Yeah.
And the American Library Association does a great job of promoting we have Banned Book Week that highlights specific materials that might not be accepted in certain communities. But even with access to the internet, luckily, these individuals, they're gonna find this information somewhere. They'll be able to read these materials, whether it's in a library, whether it's online.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it might have to go underground for a minute, but
they'll find it. They're trying to control something uncontrollable. And they know that ultimately. They're just happy to be united on, they're using this as an Arab American myself. I grew up in a very conservative community, right? I come from a Christian Arab family, but they're just as conservative as the Muslims. I'm a Palestinian, and there's no difference in our conservative culture, almost, right? There's extremes at both ends, but you couldn't tell us apart in customs, right? And often they gang up together to, often homosexuality is used as a way to bring our community together. On something, because it's so divided, but yeah.
You know what really breaks my heart about, well, there's so many things that break my heart about this story, but I was living and working in Michigan from 1998 to 2005. And I was there obviously during the 9/11 attacks and the backlash, and there was so much hate and hostility directed at the Dearborn community for just absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Just absolutely none. And these are good people.
I forgot my point, but it adds to yours, which is that's why they're also united with these white people, because it's some sort of acceptance. There's colorism and white aspirations within my community, you know? So I have an Italian mother, and my dad always told me, lead with that, you know, for example, to whitewash me, to help me in life. And when, you know, we often see this in the Lebanese American community, that they're very white passing, so they're able to, you know, have some privileges. So they will unite on America on things that obviously go against Lebanon and the Arab world, but because they're white now, because that's more important. So I think it also has white aspirations tied to it. And sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. That's an interesting perspective that I would have never
just,
thought.
you know, to give you some insight coming from that community, I know that they're proud to be marching there with people that maybe were bigots to them in the future, you know, people with authority, important white people, important white politicians.
And that's disturbing. Aspirational bigotry.
Aspirational
bigotry.
Because that's power now, apparently.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly. And David, to get to your point that you brought up, that it is ignorance. All hatred is ignorance, but it's a very educated community, Dearborn, Michigan. I mean, they're, you know, almost equidistant from University of Michigan and Michigan State. There's Central Michigan University, Wayne State University, which is huge in the Detroit area. So it's not that they're uneducated, like many of the Republican leaders. It's not that they're uneducated, but they are finding, like you said, common cause. This either vocalized or subliminal desire to pass the way, like, as Al Ferguson would say, I can pass. You know, I can be just the straight male blending in at the Walmart. And my God, if you're at Walmart, you're probably a straight male.
And a key point to what you said about it being an educator, this isn't the majority. And that's the thing. Like, these conservatives think they are the vocal majority. No, you are a very vocal minority. There may have been 300 people at that rally, which is a scary number. But Dearborn has 15, 20,000 residents. Like, it's a very, very loud minority who are causing waves because the educated people don't want to get involved because they don't want to get attacked themselves. And it's mob mentality again. The mob isn't necessarily the majority of people, but it's loud and it's scary.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.